let's open it up while we're waiting for everybody to kind of jump in. Anything kind of any good news to share? Any big victories? Any big challenges? While we're having people join us, what's working? What's not working? Who's going to shareholders? Who's not? It's all the get a feel for what's going on.
Yeah, looking forward to shareholders.
Yeah.
Well, I could get out of this Michigan weather for a little bit.
I was about to say, you're gonna enjoy shareholders. You're gonna enjoy the weather.
100%.
Did
you were gonna share something?
No, this is actually my first time on here with you guys. So I have no excuses why I haven't been on here before. So it's something I really look forward to jumping on. And Holly's been sending emails for quite a long time with the schedule, and really looking forward to this. I'm down in Arizona, and Chuck and Angela Fazio are my sponsors. So I work out of the forum here in Chandler, and something that I really need to work on more is my agent attraction, and just getting over the hump. I did bring on 2 agents last week out of California, so pretty excited about that. But just need to. I've been with EXP for 3 years. Been in the business for over 30 years. I'm really good at selling real estate, and just haven't been that great with agent attraction. So,
yeah, I think you're it's there's a lot of that, right? And I think it's a lot of mindset, belief, a shift, and always looking at where is the opportunity to have that conversation. And when we talk about kind of reflection, for us, and I look back over what we were able to accomplish out of Lawton, Oklahoma, total population 100,000, and 200 to 240 licensed people in the MLS, and when you really look up total production, maybe 28 agents that sold more than one home. And so we fell into this belief, and that's the scary thing, right, with beliefs. And so we fell into this belief that we were a shallow talent pool, no other agents that we wanted in the marketplace. And, we were just going to make our agents better, right? We were going to focus on agent productivity. And I'm not saying that those things were wrong. What I am saying is that it allowed us off the hook to think, okay, well, what are all of the ways? If we were to do this, and we were looking to increase headcount, and have a predictable system to consistently bring new opportunities and headcounts and talent into our organization, and change our thinking, which ultimately leads to beliefs, is just a collection of our thoughts. And if we were kind of gun against head, like, hey, we have to figure this out, how would we do it? I think we would have went a couple different routes. I think we would have looked at, expansion of the model. Obviously, this is before our awareness around EXP. I think we would have been like, hey, let's just fucking get the real estate school. We talked about it long enough. Let's get the school. Let's bring them in. We're equipped and built to build agents. We're just designed to do that. So I think what we have to be careful of is just falling into that mind space that, hey, this is just the way it is, and I'll just do it this way. And I think that's the power of jumping on calls like this, sharing victories, sharing challenges, asking questions, being inquisitive, staying a student, kind of changes that, falling into that false belief that's not allowing us to pursue that bigger future that we all desire, right? If we didn't want a bigger future, we wouldn't be on these calls. We wouldn't be going to shareholders. We wouldn't be investing in those things. So appreciate you guys carving out the time, jumping in with Cuz and Albie and myself. We really enjoying these calls. We enjoy these calls because you guys get on, you interact, you ask questions. That's what lights us up. That's what keeps us in the trenches. That's what keeps us iterating. That's what keeps us in our strategy sessions. That's what keeps us pushing, because we want to be there and add more value to help you guys, mentally help you guys with the proven processes, understand what to say, the value creation, get the marbles out of your mouth, and really being able to, not EXP all over people, and understand that we're just the guide in the hero's journey. They're the hero. They're trying to get where they want to go, their destination. We're here to just provide them, the guidance and the tools and the resources they need to get there. So appreciate you guys jumping in. Definitely, we operate really, really well from a Q&A standpoint, and just keep in mind, any question you have, I'm sure there's 10, 15 other people thinking the same thing. So just being able to jump in, ask the questions, we appreciate it. Either unmute, throw yourself in, or throw it in the chat, and we'll get to it. Cause Albie, what's happening?
Sorry about that. Was muted.
What's
up,
yo?
Johnny? What's up, Mr. Kinder?
What's
A
happening?
lot of familiar faces on here. Christina, hello. Danny, George, what's going on? Ryan, Joanna, Keith, what's going on, everybody? Ann, Marcus, Tony. Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday, everybody.
Taco
Eric.
Tuesday. I want to throw this out there, and one of the things that I think we've become comfortable with over the years is repeating ourselves. And I know there's a lot of especially business leaders, entrepreneurs, drivers, that's D type personalities, alpha personalities, kind of struggle with that. And it's something that we had to just do over time and get comfortable with, is following that mantra from Vern Harnish, right? Have a handful of rules and repeat yourself often. And if your team and your people and your organization and your family is not ending your sentences or mocking you, you haven't repeated yourself enough. And so we've got a big event coming up this week. A lot of folks, cutting out. I've already seen people in the last few days flying in today, tomorrow, heading down. I know, cause you're heading out tomorrow. Albie, I think you're heading down Thursday. And I just want to throw this out there for you guys, right? And when you're heading into any type of an event, not only when we host events, we always have, a primary and secondary objective, but I also want you guys thinking about going into an event. What is it that you're looking to solve, right? So you're making the time investment, the financial investment, you're stepping away from your business, your clients, your family, and you're traveling to a location to an event. Now, what is the primary objective? Like, if you go in there and you're like, man, if I could solve this one thing, this one riddle from being here, man, it would make my year. It would make this entire investment, 10 times worth the investment. Like, what is that one thing? And I think, cause we've seen it so many times, and we have to remind people coming into events, especially coming into our events, what are you looking to solve? What is your primary objective for coming here? What is the one thing that we can help you get clear on? And I think so many times, man, we just get in the trenches and we're running and gunning so hard. It's like, I need a breath. I just need to breathe. And for some, going into an event could just be that, right? I got to get the hell out of Michigan just so I can get some sun, and I need some pool time. That's fine if that's what you need, but be crystal clear on what you need, and it'll really allow you to be more intentional. So maybe throw that in there. I mean, if you guys are thinking about, heading down to shareholders, what's the one thing that you're excited about? You're looking to get some clarity on heading down to Orlando.
Throw your hand up or just unmute.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This will be my first one. Been here for, I think, 2 months now. So I'm excited to, I guess, kind of see what it's all about. I think always I get something. I'm always like, if I can get one thing from an event, then it was worth it. But I also think it's always the side conversations and the networking and the people that I meet that always bring me the most value. Not that, you know, the speakers aren't great, but I'm excited to just kind of see what it's about. And again, no expectations of what that takeaway will be, but just if I can get one nugget, then I would.
I love that, Christina. So spot on. And you know, even having that one thing right in the sideline conversations just allows you to ask better questions. And you know, in those sideline conversations, somebody, you know, you're kind of, hey, this is kind of what I'm wrestling with. What are you wrestling with? They might not have the solution. They may be in the same boat, or they may know, like, hey, I got to connect you with this person. You got to go speak to this person. And but being intentional going in just allows those sideline conversations to be so much more productive and so much more valuable.
And what the events have done for me, so my wife is also licensed, but she's really behind the scenes. She's not out there selling. She's more of our social media. So Cabo last year was the first event I got her to. So I've been going to most of the events by myself. And you know, you need that support at home. And Cabo, she really bought into it. You know, the speakers, the people, I get to introduce her to Brent Gove, you know, and so we left there and she was fired up. Well, with her being fired up, it fired me up. And, you know, so that's what I got out of the event. You know, I've met most of you guys, I think, at different events, and I love that collaboration. I love that it builds me up, and I look forward to it. Unfortunately, I can't go to share this year. I've got a medical procedure I have to have done this week. But I'm going to miss it. You know, I mean, I'm kind of jealous because I've got friends that are, you know, are going. I'm like, damn it, I fucking want to go. But, you know, that's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, since we brought our brokerages over 5.5 years ago, you know, most of the people that were part of our mastermind and, you know, our kind of like the Kinder East mastermind and the inner circle that we ran with, a lot of them had already moved away from franchises and we're all independent brokers. So we didn't really have annual events other than the one that Mike and Jay and John put on over at the Shops of Legacy in Dallas, which was great. That was my version of that, since I wasn't going to the Remax one anymore and I was an indie. So it was easy, especially Jay knows this more than anybody, to get caught up in, you know, when you're there, the excitement and everybody's happy to see you and everybody wants to say hi and high five and shake or get a picture and this and that. And it's real chaotic, and it's hard to keep focused on the goal. And so for me, I'm bringing a broker down. My goal is to connect him to as many. I want him to experience what it would be like to grow his business on this platform versus what he's used to right now, because he came from Keller Williams, then he went independent. He doesn't really know what he doesn't know. And so my goal is to just make as many connections with leadership and some of just the other leaders that are just killing it in the business to inspire him so that he just makes his own decision without, you know, that's really what this should take the heavy lift off of those situations, you know. And then from a personal learning point, what I've been doing for the last 2 conferences is I would look at the breakouts and be like, I'm going to that one, and map out what you're going to do. Instead of I used to just go there and be like, which one do I go to? And just having a little bit of a plan as to, because you can learn about social media, YouTube, lead generation, this, that, AI. There's all these shiny objects that are going to be thrown at you. And that's also a threat. So go in there with even somewhat of a plan. This is how I'd want to grow and run my business. And what little nuggets can I grab for that? Not just a general view of having everything come at you and then, you know, you basically come away from the event and you don't implement anything because you weren't really focused on one thing. You had a million things, you know, flying at you. The other thing is, you know, Ed Milet. I want to meet Ed Milet. You know, he is somebody that I look up to as a business leader and entrepreneur. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I just connect. So I'm excited to see Ed and meet Ed And so that's why I'm going.
Love it. Definitely Ed would be, there we go. Who else has anything they want to share or any questions or thoughts? Anything on your mind? Anything that we guys can help you with, kind of wrestling around with agent attraction efforts?
Hey, how's everything going?
Hey.
Yeah, so I'm fairly new. I've been here maybe think may have been a month now. There's a couple of agents that I that I know that are rock stars, and they're pretty set in at their companies, and I just wanted to see what was the best way you think to to kind of go at them without them without them looking at me like a weirdo, I guess.
Yeah, Tony, the easiest thing that you can do is invite them to events, invite them to trainings. That's what
Okay.
I have my hit list right over here, and I will give you the easy. I'm gonna even give you which one to send, right? So here's
Okay.
what I did. What day is today? I did this yesterday on Monday. That's typically when I hit my list. And a lot of my lists are brokers or team leaders. I don't have really many like single agents on my list that I focus on, but I just sent a message out and said, hey, are you using AI to grow your team at all? Just like a question that, it's going to start to get them to think. And I knew that the answer was probably going to be no for most of them. Or have you guys been doing anything with AI? Because it's a buzzword.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter what they say and how they answer it. But when they did answer it, I sent them over the expert mentors link, which you can find at honeybadgernation.com. Just go down, hit the replays link, and it takes you to the playlist that John has on his YouTube channel that has every single expert mentors live recording. The last one he did was with
Bill Stringer
on AI.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts out a little bit slow, but the last half is fire. And
Yeah.
and I listened to the whole thing, and I sent that out to my entire list. That was just a value add. It's just, I'm not banging them over the head with EXP stuff. They're just not ready yet. But I've been doing that. And one guy, Tim, who I've known forever, he's been resistant ever since, I came to EXP. He's been off of my list, back on the list, off of the list, and now back on it again. He's like, hey man, let's have lunch. We really need to talk. And so it's just, it's getting them when they're ready. It's not when you're ready to bring them over. It's when they are. And if they're killing it at their current brokerage and they're not feeling any pain, it's going to be a hard job to try to convince them that they should look at this. Okay.
Right.
It solves a problem for them. And
Gotcha.
so for my people, it's all about growing their team. And so they might learn a few things that they can teach their agents or another agent about. It's just opening up that conversation and building the relationship. So you can't, what I'm saying? Like everybody comes at them with EXPing all over them. And then they want nothing to do with it because I'm never going to come to EXP. But what if your intention initially wasn't to recruit them, and it was just to deepen the relationship? It has to start there, I believe.
Gotcha. No. So you said go to Honey Badger in Facebook and I could find the links.
Now just
go to honeybadgernation.com. Yeah, go to
honeybadgernation.com.
That's the go-to resource for everybody for anything and everything Honey Badger related. All of the call times, the links, everything. Al just threw it in the chat, but it's honeybadgernation.com. Everything's there. Your access to get CHSA, CHBA, which is Certified Home Selling Advisor, Certified Home Buying Advisor. From a production standpoint, I believe it's probably one of the most valuable processes, even more valuable now than even when it was when we created it. And so all of those resources are there, all of the call links, recordings, Braden's, if you guys are struggling with generating leads right now, Braden does Funnel Fridays, all of the recordings from the Funnel Fridays, the ads, how to set them up, they're all there. I mean, that is
Yeah.
your go-to resource site is honeybadgernation.com.
Okay, and thank you. I really appreciate that. That was really helpful. Now I actually I wanted. Is there any way, or who should I reach out to as far as my placemats? Because I ordered them on the 27th of last month. I went on the website and ordered the buyer and seller placemats, and I still haven't received them yet or heard any correspondence about them. So
I think you can go to worst case, email Holly.
Okay.
Yeah. Worst
Gotcha.
case, email Holly.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And just to finish up on that, Tony, and for anybody else too, is that, there's so many resources, from, in honeybadgernation.com to Wistia to all the things that we have everything stored on, and that can get confusing too. I think that before you start even sending anything out to anybody, get in there and find something that was valuable to you in growing your business and start implementing it. And then when you share it with someone else, it's even more powerful because you're like, hey, you know what? I had this problem too. Man, I was like, trying to get my business up and running. I wasn't getting enough appointments. I went on here and watched this. I implemented it and boom, it worked great. And now there's actually social proof from what you're going to be sending them because you actually did it. In fact, that's how I tell the story all the time of how I met Mike and Jay and John. It was because Kinder was in my inbox sending me like free tips on how to grow my business through selling more for sale by owners. And the first video that I watched, which was how to make $250,000 on a zero budget, you can probably find it on YouTube right now. I watched that video that he had sent me through email. I literally went out and implemented it that week. And I ended up like taking like one for sale by owner. And so, I was just doing it myself before I shared it with anybody else. And so, you got to be a student that's going to take action on something yourself before. I mean, said differently, you have to lead yourself before you're going to lead anyone else. And recruiting is about leadership. And it doesn't mean that you can't bring someone aboard that does more than you, but you certainly, you need to be able to, learn something and then implement it to the point where you're going to see some results. And then by sharing it after that, it's going to be 10x more powerful than just saying, hey, watch this video. You know what I mean? Like, no, it solved this problem for me. Watch the video. I was like, hey, man, I'm kind of lost in the AI thing too, but I watched this and it gave me like 10 ideas that I can implement right away that I'm already implementing, and that's the dead truth. Like there was like I said, the beginning of it was just a little bit on the slower side as far as, but then like halfway through, it was like he hit the gas and I was like writing down notes. And there was like three things that I could do right now and use it and save a bunch of time. My big takeaway, by the way, from that is that AI saves you time. Anything that can save you time is of value to us because we can't get the time back. I mean, and when you think of it in terms of that, time does become money. And so it's just going to make you more, efficient, profitable, and give you some time back. So depending on how you want to utilize it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually sat in on that AI course, and man, I tell you that there was a lot of gems dropped, and I actually bought into the coaching program. I've had like maybe 2 sessions with him, and right now I'm looking at a post that I did today, just something simple, but simple, but being consistent, and it's like I'm getting so many interactions with that post that the way he told me to set it up and everything like that is like, wow, like I was posting stuff maybe not as consistent, but when he showed me the way to really do it, and it's the stuff that we use AI to get the ideas from, is like night and day. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
So good.
See, Tony, and then once you've done it, you could actually help somebody. You can actually help somebody because you went and did it and learned it. Like, how did you learn that? Well, dude, this is the kind of stuff that our group is doing over here. We're doing big things, and they just don't know what's behind the curtain until they get behind the curtain. Speaking of behind the curtain, I got something behind the curtain. and this is a tease. I'm gonna throw it out there right off the bat. This is a tease. Jay doesn't even know what it is, but I just got off the phone with some really brilliant marketers that I've known for a while and respect a lot. And they have this software that they've developed that it's been being developed for a long time, but now they've tweaked it for seller leads using AI to find the people that are out there that are looking to sell that are off market properties. And we're trying to put it together into a product. That's what I texted you, Jay. I don't know if you saw that text, but
like the sound of it.
Man, it's something that we could literally implement like that and have a big impact for our group and many other agents who, because we've been focused a lot on the buy side, which is great, but that listing side, these guys, they blew me away. I mean, I see a lot of these things that are thrown at me every week. Someone's got a new idea. This one raised my eyebrow on it. So stay tuned. That's all I can tell you. Actually, we do need a testing group. So maybe coming back at you.
Love it.
Cool.
What else you guys got? I know we're going to have the Honey Badger app team jumping in here with us in a few moments. Of course, you know, they come in with a piece of the tool to be able to share and teach and coach us on. So definitely stay tuned for that. But before they jump in here, any additional thoughts or questions or struggles? Tony, appreciated that. It's a great question in working through a real example of how to utilize, you know, the resources, how to utilize, you know, how you apply it, how you use it, and then also, you know, sending it out through the rapid funnel, through the Honey Badger app as well. How it all kind of ties together, and this is part of the process. I think we hit on all the basic fundamentals. We talked mindset. We talked, you know, Al, you mentioned, you know, the list, building the list, kind of constantly working the list, getting that hit list dialed in, items of value, you know, conversations, finding out where people are struggling, things to utilize, you know, hot topics, buzzwords, and being able to get engagement. That's the big thing, right? Create engagement, create a conversation.
Awesome. All right, I got to jump, everybody. If you don't have any other questions, have a great week. See you guys at shareholders. Anybody going to shareholders? Come find me. Can't wait.
Right. Safe travels.
See you guys.
Cuz any other thoughts, things around kind of as the conversation's been flowing here this morning before the Honey Badger app team jumps in?
Hey John,
Hey, Tony.
one more. I'm gonna wear you out because I really appreciate the value, you know, the value and that value add that you guys bring, man. Been in the game since 2008, and over the past month, man, I swear I learned more than I learned in that whole time frame, and I'm just excited and just like, you know, where was James Massey at years ago, right? You know, so but yeah, with the KV core, with the lead gen that Braden is doing, I've implemented. I think this might have been like 3 weeks now. I did like 2 funnels or whatever, and I have like maybe 130 leads in there. So how could I, you know, with like I was saying, reach out to those other agents? Is there something in the Honey Badger Nation that speaks on that lead gen? Because I believe you have to have KV core really to make it work, correct?
Right. Yeah, you have to have KV core to make it work. We've tried to make it work with other tools. You probably could make it work with some of those tools that are out there, but there's no reason to go pay for it when everybody has a KV core. But what was specifically your question?
So how could I use that as a carrot, you know, or to add, to make it a value add to someone that I'm thinking about bringing on board?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could be posting about what you're doing for lead generation. Even though they don't have a KV core, you know, it would be a good conversation starter about if they don't have the technology to do it, then it makes sense to partner, you know, to come over to EXP and partner with us because they have all the technology and you can show them how to do it. And so,
Okay.
just I think telling the story, man, really getting into this lead generation, and I'm learning a lot. I generated 150 leads in X number of time. Anybody that's interested in lead generation or wants to know how to do this, reach out to me. This is the best thing I've done since I've been in the business, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And I think that would be a great conversation starter of people that, would be following your post and would create an inbound, reach out, to ask more questions type of thing.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that's a great hook right there. And they don't have the KV core. And a lot of the people you're going to talk about, they don't have a database. They don't not, and then being able to get it for, $85 a month, as part of the tech and training package and everything. Like they couldn't even go buy that for, I don't even know what it cost to buy it off the shelf outside. So
$7,200 a year to go buy the KV core if they wanted to do that, or they could just join EXP. I mean, it's a no brainer. And, they don't know how to use it. They don't have campaigns that are already built out, that they're structured correctly and know how to work the leads. All of that is, the magic, how to run the ads. All of that is that's, again, that's the carrot. I think that's what you can show people how to do. Once you've learned it, once again, now you have something that you can share and add value to other people as well.
So good.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Good morning.
Good job, man. Way to implement.
Savannah, good morning.
Hey guys, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for jumping in. We're gonna let kind of turn it over to you and let you kind of run with things.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you is there anyone like newer to these calls, or has everyone been on here before?
It's only, I think, my second one.
Awesome. Okay.
This is my first
This
call.
this is my second one as well.
Awesome. Okay, well, good. For those of you who've never seen me before, my name's Savannah. I'm from the Rapid Funnel team. John or Jay, do you want to briefly explain kind of how you guys use KV Core in hand with the Rapid Funnel technology for people who are the newer crowd?
You'd have to tell me. I'm not sure. I'm not using KV Core and Rapid Funnel together.
Okay.
I exclusively use the Rapid Funnel app for all agent attraction. So,
Okay.
yeah. And so, KV Core, we use for lead generation around, the consumer, buyers and seller leads and things of that nature.
Gotcha.
And we use the Rapid Funnel app for the agent attraction and, the tools and send out the videos and all that good stuff.
Beautiful. Okay, I think that's exactly what I was looking for you to say. Just kind of lay the groundwork for it. Yeah, that's perfect. So for those of you who just are coming to experience Rapid Funnel, what that is, essentially Jay and John and your guys' leaders have built out an app that's purely resources for agent attraction, and it's beautifully put together. If you don't have it yet, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and give you guys a link to get the technology. It's stinking awesome. So I come from a traditional network marketing background. So I've been building teams for the past 4 years of my life. I've done it. I used to do it. I call it the dark ages before this technology. And so like literally everything I did was written in my planner, and I dealt with business cards, and then I lose things and people would slip through the cracks, and I was frustrated. So that's where I started. And then I was introduced to this tech stack, and it's awesome. It's so awesome. So my follow-up game, my retention game has literally skyrocketed. It's been so incredible. I've had the most momentum in my personal business that I've ever had in the past 4 years of building. So it's an incredible app. But for you guys, you can go to this getting started page here, getting started /Honey Badger. This is where you can get your guys' custom like branded app. All of your resources are in here. And so we've been going over different features of the app for the past couple of weeks. So I'm not going to deep dive specifically in features of the app. I will show you in the app where you can find different trainings that we've done in the past in the coaching section of your app, but it's an incredible tool. But what we're going to be focusing on today is kind of more mindset on why we use the app for agent attraction. And so it was built from, his name's Patrick. He's the owner, the founder, the creator of the technology, but he has built a network marketing business for like 20 plus years. And so he built it out of frustration of he couldn't figure out an efficient way to duplicate a system to attract people to a certain business model, right? And it was just like, how do you know who to devote time to? How do you stay consistent? How do you keep everything in one spot? How are all of your tools in one spot? That's why this was created. But there's this theory called the 4 disciplines of execution. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Has anyone heard of this book? You guys do? Okay. Awesome. So the challenge that we're faced with is the whirlwind. And this book talks about the whirlwind. There's too many activities that it's just maintenance. And I'm going to show you a picture. I'm a very visual learner, so I'll show you a picture of what I mean by the whirlwind. But there's more distractions that keep you from moving forward than there ever has been. Ever. And identifying what the highest and best use of your time and effort is very confusing. It's very challenging. You can get distracted from it. And so our solution with the technology, with your guys' app, is it keeps you focused on your lead measure. It keeps you dialed in on what do I need to do to move my business forward. I need to do this, this, and this to attract more agents. Follow a simple, repeatable formula to execute on the most important activities. See clear measurements of what's working and what's not working, so you can be honest with yourself, and ditch the distractions, improve your day-to-day habits, be efficient with your work effort. I call it your effort index. You want the highest return with the lowest amount of effort. So you can go and put your effort towards the big rocks that really matter. And so this is the book I'm talking about, the 4 disciplines of execution. I'm not telling you to go reinvent your system. This is going to fall in line. This is just principles of success across the board, and principles of success don't change. So this is just, it's going to pull out your strengths and going to help you figure out how to focus your effort to build your team. But this is what I'm talking about, the whirlwind. The whirlwind, this is where execution fails. If you get stuck here, this is like a tornado that sucks you in. If you're not fighting against the whirlwind, it is winning. Existing work and urgent tasks that need attention now. So it's just I call it like the management, right? It's the day-to-day things that you have to do, but they're not moving you forward, if that makes sense. It's just more maintaining what you've done already. People are caught in the whirlwind of urgent daily work, which saps their time and their energy and their focus. And then they're like, I didn't even get anything done today. I just did my to-do list, right? Versus your wildly important goals. And so these are new activities and important tasks that affect your future success. And so these are the things that are moving you forward. And what I found is this doesn't take multiple hours. Sometimes literally for me, it comes down to 15 minutes a day of focusing on these wildly important goals. It's nothing crazy. The whirlwind can take a couple hours of just maintaining, but if I don't fight to get that 15 minutes of something that's actually moving my business forward, the creative side of things, the lead measures, then I'm not moving forward, so you have to fight to identify these wildly important goals, and people lack clarity, commitment, and accountability to deliver the new strategic goals. So you got to identify when you're in the whirlwind. And so it breaks down to this is kind of the cycle. And then I'll show you how our app empowers all of this. So the discipline of focus, you got to figure out what your goal is and then reverse engineer. So what's your goal? Okay, you want to attract 12 agents in the next 12 months. Okay, what if that was one new agent a month? So that's your wildly important goal. That's big because that produces the income, that produces, whatever lifestyle, it all plays hand in hand. And so you identify from there the lead measure. There's 2 different things. There's lead measure and a lag measure. A lead measure is the actual activity that produces the lag measure. So a lag is the type of money, because that lags behind the lead measure. I hope I'm making sense. For those of you who've read the book, you understand what I'm talking about. But there's the result follows the work ethic, right? So there's always a little bit of a lag in seeing results from your effort. So focusing on the lead measure comes after you've identified your goals. You go to the acting on your lead measure, And then using a compelling scoreboard. So this is, you gotta see where you were, see where you're at, and see where you're going. And it's kind of like, I heard it, it's like if you went to a sports game and there's all these incredible professional athletes that have dedicated years of their life to this sport, and there's no scoreboard. And never, like, no one knows where the game is at. Like, what's the point? You know, like, no one's excited. No one knows. Like, there's no like head to head, like 1 point away. You know, it's just everyone's there and it's pointless. They're all just running around doing their own thing. You have to have a scoreboard. You got to know where you're at. And then after that, the cadence of accountability. How do you be accountable? How do you hold yourself accountable? How do you work? How do you coach? How do you mentor a team? You have to have a cadence of accountability. And so that's the cycle. So your goals, you act on your lead measure, you know where you're at using a scoreboard, and then you're accountable to it. So our app, I'm going to go ahead and share the app screen. Oops, sorry, going too far ahead. Sorry, hold on. Okay, this is your guys' app. And those of you who don't have it yet, it's amazing. So I'm not going to dive too much into your resources or features or anything, but just specifically with the theory of the 4 executions, the 4DX, the 4 disciplines of execution. The app empowers that because we have, you can see how many exposures you've made. So those of you who are newer to the app, exposure is how many resources you've sent to someone. And then engagements is how many times has that link been engaged with. So how many times have you exposed? How many times has it actually been engaged with? So you can see, so we're talking about a scoreboard, you can see exactly where you're at. And you know what your lead measures are. This is the lead measure. This is exactly tied to how many times you're sharing stuff in regards to age and attraction. How many times are you sending your resources? It's all tied together. So this keeps you focused and honest with yourself on where you're at. This keeps you focused on your lead measure. If I'm not sharing, if I'm not telling my story from my business, nothing is getting done, right? If you're not sharing the EXP story and how stinking awesome your guys' plan is, like you're not going to attract any agents. It has to get told. That's your lead measure. And so this keeps you focused. And then my favorite part is there's these contests you guys have. So there's a leaderboard. So this shows you, it shows you how many points, and this is all based off of, let's see the contest details. All engagements. So you have running mates. You can see you're not the only one sharing resources. Like this is legit people in your guys' business that's kicking butt. 53 points, that means 53 resources has been shared in 2023. So that's awesome. So that's incredible. So that keeps you, that's a scoreboard right there. So just with the 4DX, it's all in this app. And then you can also see your statistics. And this is just a demo account, so this isn't real data, but you can come and see your statistics. So in the past 30 days, I haven't exposed no one. So I understand if I'm frustrated with, I don't see any results in my business. Well, now I know why, because I haven't done a single darn thing, and I can be real with myself, you know? So you can see where you're at. And it's so important to know that, so you can be honest with yourself. And then from there, you can, this brag button, we're talking about accountability. The brag button, if you hit this, it takes a screenshot, and then I can share it with my coach, whoever is helping me, whoever brought me into EXP, whoever, like whatever your team looks like, that can be something you set up monthly or weekly. Hey man, hit the brag button. Let me see your stats. Let's coach through it. Let's help you get where you want to go. And so that accountability is huge, huge, huge. It makes a huge difference. And then for those of you who are newer, I'll tell you where the previous trainings we've done on the app, they're in the coaching section down here. And so the Honey Badger Nation Success Training Workshop, there's lots of great resources in here. And then the Rapid Funnel app training. So I would just come here. If you're newer to the app, come in here, check it out, the coaching section. But yeah, that's for the app today. And then my challenge for you guys, decide how many exposures, how many resources you want to commit to daily, how many times you want to send out a resource daily, and make that number happen by the end of the day. Maybe this is so new to you and it terrifies you. Then just start with 1 a day. Everyone can do 1 a day. That's how I started, and then your capacity builds. And so if you just think, play this out a month. If you had sent one resource a day, a month from now, that'd be 30 resources sent out to 30 different people. That's awesome. That's stinking awesome. That's so much traction. So just commit to a number, put it up. I always thought it has to be in front of you. So just make a commitment to yourself, decide how many exposures you want and make it happen by the end of today. And then next week, we are going to have a Q&A on the app where you guys can come with your app. Everyone can have it up, and we're just going to dig through and meet you guys where you're at, and I will help you however I can. So it's Q&A next week. That's all I got.
Awesome. Love it. Couldn't agree more. Lead measures are everything, guys. If you're not doing something daily, you'll never change your results. So you got to change something that you do daily if you want to get different results. It's all about exposures. We were talking earlier about, some creative posts and things that you could put out. Try to tie what you're doing with social media to getting them exposed using the app. So anything that you can send them in here as an exposure, so you can start engaging with them and start tracking whether they're watching the different videos and whatnot. That would be a good place to start for sure.
Absolutely. I see, Anne, you have a hand raised.
Yes, I just wanted to share something. This is my first call, brand new, discovering all the honey badger resources, but I loved everything that you showed and didn't know it was there. So I'm going to start looking into it. But I wanted to share, I feel the exact same thing of all the difficulties you were talking about and keeping on track, mixing in all the urgent stuff. And I feel like I didn't do anything all day. But I found this, I don't know if anyone's seen these time cubes, but it's such a great, it's been helping me a lot. It's just like a cube that you put, it's like a timer that you put on your desk, and it has like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 60 minutes, and it rings when that time is up. And it's just helped me time block or keep on track of things, or I just think it's such a helpful tool, and it's helped me organizing myself. Just wanted to share.
That's awesome. It's literally a time block. That's awesome.
Literally, that's awesome.
That's freaking cool.
Where did you get that, Ann?
Amazon.
I'm on that. That's
I think
awesome.
if you write time cube, I bought a Dollarama timer, and it's just not the same. Like this one, it's so easy to you just flip it. So it's so easy to retime it. So it's
awesome.
It's a little bit more expensive than a regular basic timer.
That's awesome.
But it's worth it.
I like it.
I could see my kids come in and being like, "Mommy, what's this?" That's awesome though.
So Savannah, I have a quick question, and this might sound dumb, but I'm pretty new to this. So what is an example of an exposure? You're saying do one exposure a day. What are we talking about?
Jay, is it cool if I just share my screen for a second?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Here we go. Okay, so in your app, there's a ton of resources. So for you, Cindy, I just recommend just get the app and just kind of explore. And next week we'll go over it more in detail. But for just an example, let's say you had a conversation with someone. Maybe it started on social media, and maybe they're asking you what you were doing, and somehow you got their contact information. I can show you some tricks on how to utilize our app in regards with social media, but somehow, some way you have someone's contact information, and maybe they're another agent in another brokerage. Is that the right word? Yeah. Okay. Or maybe they're looking to get into the industry. I literally just met someone yesterday in TJ Maxx who was she was like, yeah, I was a teacher and I hated it. And then someone told me about EXP. So I'm doing EXP now. So, I run into it too. So I think it's awesome. But let's say, however you did it, they're in your app as a contact. So we'll go with, let's see. C.S. Lewis. He seems like a good guy to do EXP. Okay. Let's go with him. So if I wanted to make an exposure to him, let's say I thought really highly of him, he seemed really ambitious, then I want to send him a resource. So I came into his contacts and I was going to send him a resource. And you guys this is your funnel. This is your guys' agent attraction funnel for the opportunity. So you come here and you want to engage with him. And then I want to send C.S. Lewis a survey. And so what I do is I'm going to invite him to take a survey with a pre-written text, and I'll show you what this looks like. This is just a preview. Hi, CS, I'm doing some market research and would love to get your feedback. If I sent you 1 minute survey, would you let me know your thoughts? And so if I text this to him, it's sending from my phone number, and all the app did is it copy and pasted a pre-written message into your text field. So I could come in and edit this like, hey, CS, it was awesome to meet you at Starbucks yesterday. I think you're awesome. You have a lot of potential, and just to continue our conversation about the real estate space. And then I'm doing some market research. I'd love to hear your feedback. You could add on to this message. But so let's say you sent that and he's like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to take a survey. And so then he responds, and then you could send him this 1 minute survey. And then from there, I'll show you the survey. This is a really important tool for you guys, and we can spend more time on this next week. But let's say you sent him the survey, and he fills this out, right? And so I would just come and spend some time going over the survey. But we call them problem aware surveys because it makes them realize, it gets them thinking, they're like, what kind of awards incentives are important that you feel like brokers should provide? And then they fill this out and they're like, like, I don't get this where I currently am, and it's like, I wonder if there's a better way. And so they fill this all out, and you capture first, last, email, and phone number, and then you hit submit, and they're pulled to a video, a sizzle video. Sizzle is just a short video on the opportunity. And so they're seeing the content, and you can see if they've watched the video, you can see how much of the video they've watched. You can see all the answers to their survey. It's all pulled into your app. You know exactly how to follow up. You know exactly when to follow up. So that's what I'm talking about, sending an exposure. So you could just choose the survey. I want to send one survey a day to someone, however it is. Maybe it's over social media. Maybe it's to someone I met in person. Maybe it's to some guy I got a business card 6 months ago from, and it wasn't the right time. Or maybe it's someone that was from a email campaign. But that's what I mean by sending exposure.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good job, Savannah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. But we'll see you guys next week. Well, I'll see you next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great week. We'll see those of you that are shareholders. We'll see you guys there.